Okay, I'm setting up a few things, and I wanted to show you guys a few things that I'm always splurting out of my mouth, and because I have evidence for them, I'm confident about them, and hopefully somebody soon comes along and starts looking as well, because the evidence is all there, and I want to talk about a couple of them. Some of them that sound a little bit crazy. Um, the fact that we species as humans at one time were absorption creatures, and then if you, and you'll also hear me talk about the false creator dividing. And there are some metaphoric biblical terms that I'll use to describe this, but it's metaphorical so that you know what I'm talking about, but yet I can show it to you in reality, in truth. For example, Adam and Eve. And when I'm explaining to you guys that, by the way, this is supposed to be a rock video. I'm just taking it on these two stones right here that I'm going to be doing some work with. That's what I'm going to use to explain this. One of the things I'm going to use to explain this. And I'm trying to stay focused. So I'm going to try to answer several things, my own questions to myself, because as I spout the shit out of my mouth, I don't really have anybody really questioning me on it or calling me out on things. So I'm calling myself out, and I'm going to show you the evidence of these things. Okay, so several of them. I'm just going to spout out some of my statements that you might say, oh my God, this is fucking nuts. All right, so the false creator/creator divided himself from the true creator's imagery. That's what we would have called Adam and Eve when we first came to the biosystem. But the Bibles and the books all have lies spread out among them all that confuses and makes everything very strange. Right now we're all battling over transgenderism shit, and then someone came over yesterday and told me about what I call a hoax, because it was obviously a hoax. Why would a transgender person go and shoot up something and people who, number one, the school system is all about the transgender shit. They're all for it. All the teachers, majority of the teachers are all for it. The students, a majority of them are for it. The parents of the school children, a majority of them, if they're not for it, they're not against it. And if they're not for it and not against it, then they just don't give a fuck either way, right? So we know that there would be no reason in reality, in the real world, for any transgender person to go shoot up a school. No, it's just to throw it in our face again. And I didn't even go see the video of it yet. I didn't see nothing of it, but I can already tell you, just the same way I told the person when they told me about it. I said, yeah, from what you just told me, that sounds like a hoax to me. So And they're, of course, get pissed off right away. "Oh, what do you mean? You don't even know nothing about the story." No, you just told me most of the story that I need to know. And then that part of it makes no fucking sense at all. The schools are for it. The children are for it. The parents are for it. The transgender are for it. Everyone's for it. So why would a transgender person go shoot up a school because they were angry and they found their diary, supposedly, he says, and they were angry about the the lack of support for the transgender community. What lack of support? What the fuck are they talking about? The 5 people out there on YouTube and all. Okay, so I'm gonna show you that, because I'm gonna show you that male and female, X and Y, however you want to word it, were divided by the false creator slash creator. So the true creator sees everything as one. The false creator, of course, divided to do his entire build. So even when I say his, that's out of habit. I don't know. We have to come up with other terminology. I have, so a lot of times I'm using, just like I'm going to use the terminology Adam and Eve. So then when you hear me say something along the lines of, um, um, that humans divided Adam, for example. Humans divided Adam. Now that's metaphorical, because what it means is I'm talking about what you know as the atom molecule, right? So the atom molecule, spelled different, ADAM versus ATOM, and there's all these play on words and everything like that. I'm just assuming that people who are listening understand what it is I'm talking about. So when humans and the all of the technology that has been taken away, I don't want to run off on a million different things, but all the technology has been taken away is being used against us. And these things seem so big and out of the hands of human power because we believe the nonsense that we were sold all these thousands of years. And then everything's flip-flopped. So they're telling us that we're more intelligent than we used to be. They're telling us that we're more powerful than we used to be, and it's the exact opposite. We've gone further and further bio, less and less electrical. So one of the things that I want to try to do real quick before I go on and on about a lot of things, and now I'll remember the other things as I go. So I found these 2 stones. This was the one I was going to break. I'm going to use these over the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to go in on them real deep. I wanted to start that now, but I turned into this explanation video that I'm about to do. All right, so a couple of different things. I always talk about the fact that we were once absorption creatures. Absorb and secrete, because that's the way that the nanolith metallus and the nanometallus work. The building blocks that the builders use to build everything in this realm. In other words, the heavy metals and minerals, just very much smaller carbons, right? They're carbon form. So these carbon form, we don't see them as having life. They don't have eyes. They don't have mouths. They don't have stomachs. They don't have legs. They don't have backs. They don't have fronts. They don't have, they don't have body parts like the biosystem does, right? But all these carbons will lay on this stone over years and years and years. And I was going to do it this way. So let's see, this one and this one look like they're fairly in the same family, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So we can go down to a nanocarbon. Go down in your imagination for a second, nanocarbon. So nanocarbon, you're going to start piling up. Now, whatever okay, so what the builders are only going to add to that, let's use a nanocarbon. Let me take, here's one right here, right here. So we take this little nanocarbon that I have in my finger and just leave it there. And as time goes on, it's going to keep building and building and building, because it's going to absorb certain heavy metals and minerals, and then the builders are going to build it according to whatever heavy metals and minerals you put there. In other words, whatever you feed the system. Same thing I've been telling you about the clouds, the water, the human population, you name it. The builders will build accordingly. The true creators builders, that's the amazing thing, is that the true creators builders work for even us if we know the system. They work for us. And that is us. That's us when we leave this bioshop. But anyways, let me stick to the story. Okay, so over time, this is going to keep absorbing. So it's not having babies, it's not having sex and then having babies yet, right? It's just a carbon. It's not a biospecies yet. So it's not having sex in order to multiply. This is the big point that I'm trying to get to. Okay. So eventually it gets to this size. Possibly. Maybe it gets broken as it's being grown. Maybe it gets a little bit bigger than this size again, and then it gets divided, right? And then whatever, lightning hits it, another rock, here, I'll put it right here so we can do this. Another rock falls on top of it, breaks it, and then now it's two particles, two, carbons, right? Now it's two particles. So all these different things. But as it grows and as it keeps absorbing things, it's going to get to this size eventually, right? Now, this is considered one. I know it's one with the rest of the system because the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast imagery is all in there. So the True Creators works in there. I can see the builders and what they're doing all the time. Now I'm moving this thing around. It's not tricky for the True Creators builders to keep building this stone while I'm holding it. As a matter of fact, because they don't see up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in and out, they're right now building the inside of this stone. And I can prove that. We're going to do that with that stone. And that's what I'm slowly but surely working up to. So then more and more time goes by. Now, these are not in the same family. These two are. These two look like they're the same heavy metals and minerals in both of these stones. So they both absorbed and attracted throughout their lifetime to the size they are now. And then we don't know what bigger boulders they were already broken off of. We don't know. Or are they on the build? Are they waxing or are they weaning? I'll put it that way. Are these stones waxing or weaning? So maybe it was already cut, maybe whatever purposes, it was already broken, and these are actually brother and sister rather than husband and wife coming from two different mineral pools. Because if we were going to say husband and wife, then we could take these stones and they could mix with that stone if the builders were willing to build it according to the heavy metals and minerals. So we could take the heavy metals and minerals that make up this stone and take them away and get rid of them. And then once we, as humans, we can remove these heavy metals and say, okay, we don't want any more of these heavy metals and minerals. So therefore, the builders would not be able to build a new identical brother and sister, right? They'd have to go to another stone, in other words, another set of heavy metals and minerals to mix with these heavy metals and minerals in order to do and the thing is absorption, because remember, they're not having sex. It doesn't work that way, right? We know that. So what I'm saying is that they're absorption creatures, right? So right now at this point we're just working on getting bigger, and I'm just pointing out that I realized that these could have been cut off a larger stone, right? All right, we'll put these two aside, and now get into this part that I keep talking about all the time. So back to the brother and sister thing, and not to be husband and wife coming from two different. They're obviously both the same heavy metal and mineral makeup, so I would have to assume that both their parents would be the same if they were biospecies, because there are carbons. It's just whatever you're absorbing and secreting, which is very similar to the human before we were so distracted by the biosystem. Putting more emphasis and importance on our biosystem rather than our electrical system. And if our electrical system was running properly, instead of making it so intelligent with all of our intelligence, then maybe we would be living healthier, longer bio lives, because our electrical system would be solving all of our bio problems for us rather than us keep fucking it up. Okay. So now they're, again, absorption creatures. They're not having babies. But how do we get to division then? How do we get to division? Any which way. I took a knife to this yesterday and I divided it, right? And the reason why I divided it is because I want to show you that the True Creator does not build according to up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in or out. And this is going to be my in and out. So what I was doing was I was flipping these, and I'm going to do so again. I'm flipping this one upside down, and I'm going to leave this one like this. So now that we did that, we know that one side of the stone is at least upside down. I'm going to spin them around in every direction, but once I go in there and extract the imagery from there, then that, and at least as far as this stone goes, and I've done many of these to keep confirming it, whether it's inside a tree, inside a lot of things. So, anyways, everything, pretty much everything, trees and all layers of water, running water, standing water, mirrors, and I figured out a lot of different shit as I've been going along. But this is another one, and this is a clear way for you all to understand this. So, okay, so the division. So now it's divided for whatever reason. Now this is divided. So this kind of trying to explain how the true creator, how the false creator slash creator did his build based on only division, because people would think that, okay, well, if you're only dividing things, then you're not really, creating more of them. Well, yeah, you are, because you're going to keep doing this. So now I could easily take this side of this stone now, and I could bring it again back with this one. This is a different heavy metals and minerals. And let's say I bust this stone down into the carbons that I'm talking about, and I just leave them scattered about here. Well, over time, maybe I'll even scatter it over the rock, right? I'm even going to scatter it over here, right? So now it's not the only heavy metals and minerals, but since they're there, they're going to be attracted to this rock. Just like I was showing you in the logs in the woods that have the carbon laying all over them. Those carbons might have come out of the exhaust pipe of people's cars. They might have come, they're all in the air, we're breathing them, whatever. Point being that a carbon buildup over time builds up, and this stone will get larger over time, right? Collecting all the heavy metals and minerals from it. So now, it's now partners with these other heavy metals and minerals. It's no longer part of the same exact family, right? I'm trying to do this on the stone level so that you understand the carbons, the heavy metals and minerals that we're surrounded by, that are the building blocks of everything that's in here. And that we can see it. We can see it. We don't have to take anyone's bullshit stories for it anymore, because they've been lying to us. They've been lying to all of us. All right, so once you determine this, and I'm going to obviously have to come back to this video because I can't talk about these things and do it at the same time. So when I'm going to be coming back on the next video, I'm going to be flipping these around. I'm going to be extracting the imagery, digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from this stone that I split in half and turned over. Once you see the imagery and that is in every direction, then you begin to understand and say, okay, so the true creator doesn't build according to up, down, left, right, backward, forward, but we know the false creator does, because that's the way we live our lives. Everything is that way, right? The grass grows up towards the sun, grows out of the ground. The ground has been separated by the sky. The sun has been, the night has been separated by the day. You can see all the division. So then you get all this division, and then you say, okay, but without having sex, then how is it that you can start multiplying then? You can't multiply. You can only divide. You can only divide things in half, but you have no way to have sex to multiply. But you can. The carbons can. The carbons are able to do this because they're absorption and secretion creatures. So they will absorb carbons, whatever carbons they absorb. The builders will build them accordingly, just like they do everything in this realm. And then as the whatever item grows, the rock, whatever, I don't want to use trees, I want to stick to rocks, but as the rock grows in size or whatnot, or sometimes keeps being divided at certain points of its life, and then one part of it breaks off and goes over there, and then starts another life with other heavy metals and minerals that also get attracted to it, and for whatever reasons, many reasons. The electromagnetic reasons are, in my opinion, the most important. But anyways, sticking to the story. So then we're going to know that up and down and left and right and back and forth. That'll eliminate that, because we are going to spin this stone around to extract the imagery. So we know that this stone laying on the ground, the true creator didn't look at it and say, and the false creator obviously has no say about it. That's another thing that it proves. The false creator has no say about the way the true creator's builders work or anything like that, because the true creator still builds according to up, down, left. I'm sorry, the true creator does not build that way, but the false creator does. So everything in the biosystem, everything, trees, plants, fish, everything goes, swims up and down. Everything goes back and forth, sideways, in and out, and everything has an in and out. That's the way we do it in our system. But the builders, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, being built for our visual pleasure so that we can know and understand all this, but nobody wants to look. Okay, then by splitting it in half, by splitting this stone, now we're going to go and get the imagery. That's what I was going to do with this one until I found the large face image, which I'm still deciding on how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this stone, extracting the imagery from it. I just have to do it in a way that doesn't make me sound crazier than people already think I am. So now we're going to extract from the inside and from the inside, right? So then we know, without a doubt, especially when you do enough of these stones and you start looking at other things inside and outside, and you'll say, oh, okay, so it's still feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast in all directions. So yes, everything is being built by the true creator at all times. That's the way it is. That's the way it goes. And you can see the builders. We can see it all. Okay. So now that I said all that, what I'm going to do also in the next couple of videos is I'm talking about humans dividing Adam, and I've been talking about see if I can do this. Okay, I've been talking about humans dividing Adam, and the thing that I have to stress about, and also the false creator slash creator dividing himself from the system and calling himself Adam. Now, these are all words derived by lion-ass humans as far as the name. Yeah, whatever, man. I hate that fucking thing. So whatever. So it's all lies anyways. But as far as metaphorically goes, right? As far as metaphorically goes, we can prove that Adam and Eve were divided and Adam didn't have nothing over Eve. All the period stuff and the bleeding and the women's cycles and the having babies and everything, because we went from absorption creatures ourselves, because that's what we started out as. We're absorption and secretion creatures. And then we changed it, whether that happened over evolvement or, in other words, human evolvement, humans inflicting evolution on the human population, which that seems like the way that it's going to me so far in my investigations on it. In other words, one group of humans controlling the 7.8 billion zombie slaves for tens of thousands of years based on lies that the zombie slaves agreed to go along with. And they feed off of our energy, and they want our energy. I know you're going to think that, no, they want the money. No, they want it. No, it's just the energy. They don't care about the money. The money's like nothing. That's a trick. It's a trick. Yeah, we all want the money because we've been programmed to want the money. But to them, it's not about the money. It's about you never being able to have time to go look at this, what I'm showing you. Never have time to think about it for yourselves. Never have time, because they want to keep you slaves. They want your energy. They don't want whatever, your possessions or whatever. That's just other zombie slaves that want all that stuff. But the humans that are controlling this system, they want that 60 to 80 hours a week at the job. They want another 30, 40 hours a week wasted on other false security, whatever, your boat, your race cars, your motorcycles, your sports teams, your all the distractions, your shopping, whatever. All right, so back to this before I run out of time. I'm already at 20 something minutes, I think. Yeah, it's at 30 something minutes. I gotta be careful here. Let's see what the fuck is it. I don't even know. I gotta get my glasses. Anyway. All right, so let's try to get rid of the glare. What I was going to say is this. Okay, again, starting with my shadows around on the outside, right? This is one of those NASA moons, by the way. So I'm using it purposely. But let's say I'm gonna put you in the position. I don't want to put myself because people think that's egotistical. But I'm put you in the position of being the false creator slash creator. And the reason he's a false creator slash creator, or if you want to call them Adam and Eve, or whatever you want to call him, and you were, take your pick. Take your pick. I'm going to pick one for you. So I'm going to pick one image that's a male image, and I'm going to pick one image that's a female image. And I'm going to show you the philosophical idea of Adam and Eve. Because as I was explaining to Richard several times, and I'm explaining to everybody in previous series, these images are nothing unique in the system. There's going to be a million of you of your image, just like there's a million of my images created in the system. I'm sure even more than that, obviously, because when you see that it's everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take this male image because I know he's easy to find. So again, shadows around. He's the same one, my go-to guy. I'm going to bring you him. And I'm going to give you, because I know that every angle is going to give you a different perspective. Shadow cropper. I'm going to choose, let's see, where is he now? Let's see. I just had him a second ago. There he is. Okay, I'm going to give him to you right here, and I'm going to show you how much of his hair I'm going to give him. And I'm going to crop, I'm going to get in the right cropper. I get him again, hold on a minute, I lost him. I don't want that one, I want this one, or this one. Probably this one. Crop it properly, yeah. And then I want this here. Okay. So, see these lines, these timelines? They're going to decide how much of him I'm going to take, just to let you know where I'm dropping my cropper. So, edge of his face is right here. I'm having a hard time working the camera and everything at the same time, but hold on. I don't want down here because I want the tongue coming out and I want the teeth. So, actually, I'm coming over here. I'm bringing my camera heavy right. Gonna have to move this because of glare. And then, let's see. I'm gonna give you my Adam, and then I'm gonna give you my Eve. Philosophically speaking. I'm too low. I gotta go right there, and then. Let's see. I can get him there, but not with the tongue. Alright, then let's try this. I don't want the tongue out. I could go for that one. Alright, I could go for this one. Alright, and these are all timelines, by the way. Where is he now? There he is. Okay, so this timeline right here cuts him off with his right eye here and his left eye here, but these are the wide angle. His eyes open up. It's not the small face, because then you have a timeline right here that cuts his face off. I'll show it to you in a minute. And this also ends up being another timeline that's further away from him. So let me see. But you can see his tongue sticking out in this one. And he goes more canine at one angle. But if I'm coming up here, see his hairline, see his hairdo? Watch. Watch. No, I lost his hairdo. If I do that, I have to come all the way up here to get his hairdo good. So if I just pull his tongue in at the bottom of the camera, and I put you right there, then I've got that particular image. And he seems to come with all of this too in this particular photograph of the moon. Anyways, but that's not the guy I'm gonna choose. Anyways, I'm just showing you how he changes. My guy is gonna be here with the tongue sticking out. Just switching over for some cropping tools. My guy's going to stop here. My atom. And then I need my reverse cropper. That fits there. And there's the timeline. And there's the guy I want, but I want him with his tongue sticking out. So I have to move him back a little bit off that timeline a little bit to get his tongue. There it is. There it is. And then I may be up a little high. I don't know. Let me see. It's incredible. And these are both timelines that this is on. I'm trying to show you. Look. It's incredible. It's incredible to see how this timeline's working. Okay, so now they got you my atom, metaphorically, of course, speaking. And this would be the false creator / creator dividing himself from the true creator's energy first, right? Because he first has to divide himself from the true creator's energy first before he starts dividing and dividing everything else. So he first divides his self from the energy. So that would have been him. And then for Eve, because again, it's the same, Adam and Eve are the same. Remember, in the true creator's work, all is one. So this Adam that I'm showing you over here is the same as Eve over here. Because the true creator doesn't not divide. True creator doesn't separate. They're all part of the same system from the veil to the ground. You see? Okay, so Eve, I'm going to make her Eve, I guess, because she's... Actually, I got this one here, so you know what? I'm going to make this other one Eve, because what the hell's the difference? Because now I remember it's called a corset, and I could probably get you in on it a little better if I got the eyes and stuff. And I'm starting to see some of her dressing and finding her angles a little better. Okay, so this one here, let's see. I'll crop her in a second. Her face is up here, eye, hair going around this way. She has, when I get in close and I get the right angle, I'm going to show you, this is actually a Rottweiler. I've had a Rottie, and the face is of a Rottweiler. Her arm is going to be coming down this way, and she's wearing a corset. She's wearing a low-cut corset. I'll show you. See? And I'll bring you in on the canine's face, and you'll see the arm is like holding the dog on her back, and the dog's face is looking over her shoulder. It's pretty cool. And then yesterday when I was looking at this and I was watching the video back, I could see it more clearly that this is definitely working out a hip, but I don't see anything lower than that. But I get this working as a hip area, which is not good because all these colors, just to let you know, have been changed. The colors are overriding the actual images. So for me to say that this image that I'm portraying for you right now, I don't even believe that this is a real image that the true creator intended, because the colors are over. I'm going to look further, but I don't think it is. I'm just showing it to you that, you know, we can see it all, but I see the human influence in it because it doesn't match the other, I don't know, tens of thousands of moon videos and photos I've looked at. Anyways, back to this. She used the necklace. This was a necklace which was much thinner, but this image got changed into this wearing apparel, like almost like a dress unit that's coming down with her thigh sticking out of it, out of the side. I'll find the angle for it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's probably over here somewhere. See? And it kind of works out as a wearing apparel. So I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find her right light, and I'm going to use her as Eve just to show you the symbolism of what it is I'm talking about the false creator dividing and everything like that. So if I need that there, I don't want to make her face too unattractive because it is very unattractive, but I want to bring you in and show you the canine on her shoulder. And I'm going to try to get him to go Roddy because he doesn't look Roddy in that position. Let me see. I know I got him to look very Rottweiler. And if I got him to go Rottweiler, that would have made sense to have him this way because the color down here would have been there. So maybe I was down lower. Look at all the faces. I mean, I was telling you guys on another earlier video about the imagery. There's a female image laying down here. That's not the angle for her. I just wanted to let you know because they got her face right there, pretty good. But I don't even have a filter on the camera or anything. It's just there's a lot of color in this photo. I'm trying to get that Rottweiler right there. Trying to get him to go Rottweiler. And I'm also trying to get her face to go prettier too. I keep losing the angle. But you can get the shape of her corset and her breasts and everything like that pretty good from here. I'm going to try to cut her a couple different ways. It might get, because I was too close. So I am starting to get the Rottweiler look over there. But then I lose her arm and I lose her face. So let's check this. Yeah, see, you can even see the ear of the canine and everything. Where the hell's my stick? All right, so if I come out to here, she's still ugly though. The female face still weird, ugly looking thing. Up here, if I make this the corset and all her dress, but maybe it's up here. So it's going to take some toying and twinking, and finding my angle of where she is. But you can get the gist of it, right? I mean, she even got some cut lines for the breast of the corset. The corset has the right shape. They changed the colors and all this stuff, though. This is not supposed to be blue and purple, and this is not what the true creator had intended. I'll look again, like I said, but when you're looking close at even this photograph here, a lot of these colors are overshooting the black triangles that you're going to see everywhere. Yeah, maybe if I even come back here even, let's try this. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to get her. Maybe if I crop her, let's see. She's got two different timelines. They put her in two different timelines, but they also moved the fucking timelines by adding color because they're putting the wrong color in the wrong place. No, they didn't. Okay, no, they cut this timeline. But I don't know if I don't even know if it's a real image or not. In other words, I don't know if that's the true creator's working on. I just don't think so. Even the setup of it and everything, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. I have to look into it. So now I need this crapper. Alright, so this one and this one. I don't know if she has any more body parts than that. See, it seems like she might have an arm going down, but I want to leave her left breast out of it. So I'll stay away from the timeline a little bit. Alright, and then I stayed away from the timeline on both sides. And now let's see what we got here. And then I can try this too. I could have swore I got her to go pretty more attractive in the face than that. The dog, I see the Rottweiler now, and I see his ears and everything pretty clearly, and maybe he's not a Rottweiler, but it sure looks like it, like on the size of his face and in the whiteness where it goes under his nose and stuff. That's right here. But if I go eye, his nose and his mouth, and then she has her arm going up to him too, which I don't know how I cut. Oh, so it's a different timeline, her arm. So I am missing some of her. Okay, let's see. So yeah. No, it's not. It's just a different angle. All right, so same timeline, different angle. Because the arm is right here. Watch. Holding the dog. It goes, you can see the cutout of it going up and back that way. I know I'm bouncing the camera around a lot and everything like that, but what I'm going to do is, for the hell of it, before this video ends, it's already at 30 something minutes, I'm going to do this. For anybody that wants to do this, feel free. Just pause your video. The only thing is I don't have any way for you to do 360s with it. But this is that NASA moon photo, and it is a very fun photo to go look in at. So I'm just going to turn it a little bit. I'm going to turn it a little bit. And I'm going to turn it a little bit. And what you could be doing at any time is just pausing the video anywhere you want. And I'm keeping the camera fairly straight down on the moon photo. So you can take your camera out of your hand, pause the video, and then just look around in there. It's pretty amazing. Because this one, as far as I know, this was not put back online. But we know we found the one yesterday that had the purple in this area. That's how I found that. That's how I noticed that image. Because I never see that unless they add their colors to it. I never see that image of that female. And I know I can get the face to go more attractive, and I can get her hair. There's an angle for her hair to be better too. So there's going to be an angle where that entire image is much better than what it is, than what I just got it. So I don't know how good any of that explanation was, but I felt I needed to talk about some of them things. So you see that how the false creator slash creator divided himself from the system. Then he divided himself again and again and again and again, and he kept dividing all the way through the system to create the bio build. So although that the bio species have to have sex, most of them actually, because there are even some spiders that don't, but they're still absorbing sperm. They're not just absorbing, and plants too, if you think about it, because plants have metellus all over them that spread from plant to plant. We call it pollen, but it's just another metellus. It's a carbon that the plant creates and then spreads to another plant, and then that plant has seedlings and things of that nature. So this all can be explained when you hear me say that humans divided Adam, and that's where the rest of the species came from. Because that, again, a lot of the things I say are, you're like thinking to yourself, I know, I'm not doing it for to psych everybody out or to scare anyone. In fact, I do quite the opposite. I try to do all this and well thought out and as unscary as possible, because there is nothing scary about it. I just something I've learned. There's nothing scary about it. It's just reality. Maybe that's a little scary at first, but so I'm trying to show you how everything could have came about of what I'm talking about. So if the false creator slash creator was only stealing the true creator's work and dividing Adam based on whatever the true creator was showing us, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, faces only, right? Even though I'm showing you body imagery, I'm telling you it's faces only, because it takes faces to make up these bodies. So if you look at that and you take all that into consideration, then you begin to understand the false creator slash creator. So they all deserve our appreciation for the build, It's not like I'm saying that oh, well, fuck them, they don't care about us, or no, man, I'm saying humans are 7.8 billion zombie slaves. Really, why shouldn't we show our appreciation? But at least that, I think that will do is it would help us understand their entities, and try to understand their level of consciousness is way beyond anything of our level of consciousness, at least so far, that I can tell. Um, but you can begin to understand, and then you say to yourself, okay, I see what he's saying. Because, see, when we're looking around and everything's still feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, and faces only everywhere you look, then that is evidence that of the true creator being number one in charge of all the energy, the one energy, and then also the builders work for the true creator, all the triangular shapes that are building everything. Those two things are very important to put into your head and get to understand. And by doing all this, you'll be able to see and understand it. That's why we're going to do these stones next, so I can try to explain how that is in a very simple way that everyone can understand it. So by looking just with our eyes, we can see that everything's feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. So when we look in our real life, right, in our bio lives, we're solid mass and everything's solid mass. So in other words, I can get the imagery out of this rock, but I can also get the imagery out of the clouds, the smoke, the steam, the water. It doesn't have to be. It could be liquids. It could be anything, because the true creators, builders build everything in here, not just some things, not just a few things, not just the rocks, not just us, not just the underground and not just above ground, not just high up and low down. No, everything from the veil to the ground is built by these same builders. So, if the false creator slash creator was the one to create, let's say, for example, giraffes and dolphins and lobsters and snakes and all these birds, I'll even still throw in, because even birds are very few and far between. So maybe we could say that one of them got snuck in and now show themselves in the true creator's work. But no, not necessarily, because actually they could just be considered a rodent. So if they were rodent faces, and they always were, and the only reason birds are flying is due to humans at some point coming along and dividing Adam ourselves. And then every time we divide Adam, if you look at all other species, including, okay, bugs, all bugs could come from the metallus alone. The metallus are nanoless metallus, and the nanometallus and the electrometallus. These are carbons, literally just carbons. What am I at for minutes? Shit, did I go over my minutes? I think I'm out of time. Hold on. Alright, I'm out of time. I guess I'll try to do it in the next video and try it again. I'm just going to play some music in the next video and look in at the stones, and I'll just put the 3 or 4 of these videos in a row or some shit. I don't know. I'll be back.